Welcome to Diet.com video. I'm Sarah Dussault, and today I'm with fitness expert Stephen Cabral. And a lot of you guys have asked us questions about exercises you can do when you're injured. So Stephen, you I know see a lot of clients, wide range of type of people. What are the most common injuries that you're seeing, and how can people safely exercise or come back from that injury?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the issue that most people have are knee-based or lower back-based. Sometimes we see shoulder-based now because of people sitting over a desk, getting really tight pecs, getting weak muscles in the posterior chain back here, and so they're out of biomechanical working order. Now, the reason why we see them so much in the lower back and the knee is what happens is those joints are meant to be stable, but they're asked to move too much when the joints above or below them don't have enough flexibility, don't have enough mobility. So I'm going to take a little step back and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So when you look at your ankle right here, that's meant to be mobile. So it's meant to be able to kind of twist around and move in many different directions, up, down, side to side. Now above it you have your knee. Your knee, as you know, can move forward and back, sagittal plane. It has a difficult time moving side to side. When it moves side to side, you end up with a pretty nasty injury. And so that's when you hear about ACL, MCL based injuries, all of that type of stuff in sports, because literally they get an impact injury where they get hit. That knee is not supposed to move to the side like an ankle can. And what happens is those ligaments tear. Now, right above it, you have your hip. Your hip is meant to be mobile as well. I'm going to show you some hip swings. I'm going to show you some ankle circles in a minute to help those areas. But so you have this ankle and you have this hip. In the middle, you have a joint that's stable. These two are mobile. When they're not mobile and they can't move, your knee is forced to do things that it should never, ever do. And that's when we get all that knee pain, like on the inside of the knee or right above the knee. We end up with a lot of issues, and so we help clients through that. Now, if you look above, we already have this mobile joint that we talked about, your hip. Well, right above your hip, you have your lower back. Lower back is not meant to move, really. People think that they're supposed to be able to twist with their lower back. You don't. You twist with your thoracic part of your spine and your chest. So this is mobile, in between we have a stable joint. That's how the body works. So in between those we have a nice stable joint. So what happens when people don't have mobility in their hips from sitting all day, or mobility in their back from sitting all day, we have a lower back that's forced to move more than it should, and guess what? It gets injured. So let's hop over here and let's show some exercises people can do. We add this in as part of our dynamic warm-up. Now, if a person's injured coming back from it, we're going to certainly do a lot more work. But even after they've recovered from their injury, what we want to do is keep them from getting injured again. That just makes sense. So I'm going to show you a couple moves today. The first one I'm going to have Sarah do is just a hip swing, forward and back in the sagittal plane. So literally she's stretching her hamstring and she's stretching her hip flexors. Also the glute gets stretched. So we have the muscles in the front and we have the muscles in the back opening. Now the reason we do hip flexors and we do some of these ankle circles is because a lot of times muscle tightness isn't the muscles itself but the nervous system. So that might not make a lot of sense, but your nervous system is kind of what holds your muscles tight or what lets them loose. Or tells them to fire or not to fire. So some people are constantly firing, some people can't fire because of a blockage there. We won't get too deep into the science, but what this does, it just relaxes your body. So literally, Sarah's not trying to lift her leg, she just lets it swing. It's kind of nice, it relaxes the body, and this relaxes your whole nervous system. And that's the point. If we can cool the nervous system, we can kind of calm down some of that tightness. Now, so that's sagittal plane swings. You can go frontal plane swings, up and then across your body. And this is a great thing to do as well because it now stretches the side of your hip and the adductor side. You get abduction, adduction, and you stretch both sides back and forth. And I shoot for about 20 reps in each direction. But again, this is an exercise to build strength and it's an exercise to help open up your hips. So that's great. And then after that, what we have clients do is ankle circles. So we do about 10 to 20 reps in each direction. Now, a lot of times we see clients with really choppy movements, and we can see that their nervous system is really disturbed because those muscles should just be able to flow. So with time, you'll open up and open up. And after that, we also have egg beaters. So you don't use this leg as your axis, and you go around in a nice big, and I always recommend holding on because then you don't have to worry about balance. This isn't a balance exercise. It's about just kind of letting the body loose. And you see people at the gym kind of do this with their shoulders as well. Not a bad exercise to do, it just builds mobility there. The shoulder's a little bit more challenging because what we need to do is stretch open the pecs like a doorway stretch. So if you're right here, you can step through and do a little stretch here, and I would just recommend, yeah, like that, leg back, or switch feet and step back. I always like the elbow a little higher than the shoulder. The reason I do that, the pecs attach at a diagonal, and you just want to stretch them at a diagonal, it just kind of makes sense. So we do this exercise, but at the same time, we're trying to strengthen the back muscles. So we can stretch open the chest, which is great, but we can never get the shoulders back into alignment until we do some posterior chain work, we do some rear delt rhomboid type work. And those are the exercises that we show in the videos, like rows, one arm rows, lat pull down, retracting the scapulas, these shoulder blades right here. You want to pinch them together whenever you do a movement, and that helps pull everything back. So we'll show you more exercises in the future. We can only show you a couple today, but this is a great start. We're just kind of opening it up, getting it a little bit looser.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Stephen. And hopefully you guys, some of your questions have been answered. Try some of these prehab exercises to make sure you don't get injured anytime soon. We'll see you next time.